What's good, YouTube? Today we're back here with another Market Watch, but first the must-see video of the day is actually a conversation about Market Watch that I really enjoyed. DP Yu-Gi-Oh! Went and said there's good and bad in everything, including Market Watches, and so what I take away from this is you should realize there's consequences to your actions when you are talking about prices and cards on YouTube. You're talking to audiences, no matter who you are when you're doing Market Watch, you're talking to audiences of hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of viewers about cards and prices, and basically you should be thorough with what you're talking about. No matter what you're doing, there's going to be a cause and effect pull when you're talking to thousands of people, and there's only hundreds of these cards on the online marketplace in TCG and eBay. So you should be very careful with what you're saying and how you're presenting a card, and I'm going to give you two really good examples of this. One card is what I was going to put at the end of Market Watch as a suggestion to pick up now for true Draco players, and another's a card that I've considered is really cute, but you could hype it in a really bad way that it shouldn't be hyped in. So I do want you guys to go over here, listen to the conversation and enjoy it, and then say your thoughts. It's a really good conversation. He's very real with it, and I think it's a good thing, personally, that he brought up a lot of these points. You should own up that you have some sort of influence on the market. Now, I get a lot of people that say, you're hyping X card, and they're not even listening to the conversation because I'm being harsh. I'm saying not to pick it up, and they tell me that I hype it just by featuring it. There's a difference between hype and being able to talk about something. But no matter who you are, when you have a large audience, I feel there's going to be some pull and push with anything. Like, I've been playing Pendulum Magicians a lot, and I super enjoy them. People see my enthusiasm about them, and people have directly told me they play Pendulum Magicians because of me. And that's not going to drive the price up of Pendulum Magicians or have some negative effect, and it's a relatively cheap deck. They just love seeing what I'm doing with the deck and then want to talk about it, and they also enjoy the deck themselves. But let's go ahead and get into our regularly scheduled Market Watch here, and the first card I want to talk about is Waterfall of the Dragon Soul. So this is my example of the cards that I want to be careful talking about because it's a good card that saw a lot of play at Worlds. So you have this card that does this. Activate one of these effects, either add any worm-type monster from your deck to the hand, so any true Draco, or send any number of worm-type monsters from your hand and or face up from your field to the graveyard. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters into the graveyard plus 1. So this card's very good, but the drawback is that currently it's too slow. It's just not good enough to really push into the deck right now. Some people do play it and tech it. It's good enough to see a regional top right now, but it was played heavily at Worlds because of the Worlds ban list, and with a ban list looming right now, if you plan to continue playing True Dracos post-ban list, we don't know how they might hit it, so this could still be useless after the ban list. I would still consider picking this up because it's highly likely that they hit the top decks, and Zoo and True Draco are the two top decks. So a card that was this prevalent in the World's meta for True Dracos, for you True Draco players, I would consider getting this while it's cheap. And a way to save money is TCG player. If you find a TCG seller with extra things you want, you can get your copies cheap here. There's somebody with 7 of them at 16 cents. The reason why it's cheaper than eBay is eBay puts the price of a stamp, which I think is like 49 cents right now or something, alongside the 30-cent PayPal fee. Literally, that seller's seeing 21 cents minus 3 more cents. So the seller's seeing 17 cents here if they sell it at $1. $1 buy it now. And I believe $1 buy it now is the cheapest is where it's at. Yeah, 99 cents. So this guy's seeing maybe 24 cents at the end of the day to 17 cents, depending on if he's a power seller, what fees he has, etc. But 49 cents ripped for the stamp, and 30 cents no matter what ripped. So yeah, 21 cents at the most if you're selling at 99 cents. Minus 3 cents from PayPal as well for that 3% fee on the dollar. But this is a great card in my opinion as is. It could be very good after the ban list, but again, we're speculating on the ban list, and you want to be heavy that you're speculating that this is on the ban list. Next is Draconet. Now, this is a card that you could just hype up and be like, one card, ding long! You use Galaxy Serpent, special it from the deck, and you synchro with Galaxy Serpent into ding long. He's a Dark Cyvers from the structure deck, meaning he's going to be harder to get in the future unless he gets reprints. When this card's normal summoned, you can special summon one level 2 or lower normal monster from your hand or deck in defense position. So first off, if you're playing a ding-along deck, you're already playing extra garnets. People like to call garnets in terms of bricks that it's bad to draw. So basically, you're playing extra bricks in your deck, and Galaxy Serpent's just another one. And yes, it naturally already has synergy with Brilliant Fusion, but then you're playing Lazuli too, and you know, you can draw multiple Brilliants, and then Brilliant can be useless, and you also need to get it out of your extra monster zone before you ding long. See where this is going? Basically, this card would be played in decks that brick a lot, but yes, it's a one-card ding-long in some senses. So you do want to be careful when you're talking about a card. Like, if Dinosaurs got hit, Overraptor gets put to one Miscellaneous Source, you know, the combo with Overraptor, Miscellaneous Source, Pitch, get AOLO, and Synchro into Dinglong. Well, if Overraptor somehow got hit to one, Draconet's the next best Dinglong Turbo card, but you're still playing infinite bricks in order to do that. So there's huge drawbacks to it, but you could easily hype this card up as having synergy with Brilliant Fusion as is, because you can get the Galaxy Serpent back for free if you don't draw this card, and then normal summon the Galaxy Serpent and do stuff with like Synchro for a 7, or that it can also get it from your hand, so it's not a brick. You're just playing a ton of bricks with this card. So these are two examples of overlooked cards right now that I would give a look at. But I wouldn't have put this on Market Watch, and I just want to use this as an example here. But Waterfall of the Dragon Souls is one I would put on Market Watch, because it did see heavy play at Worlds. It is being overlooked, it's cheap, and I would want my audience to have access to that if they plan to continue True Dracos. Now, yes, there will be people on here to abuse it. They're like, I better buy 9 of these, and they'll go up, and I'll be able to sell 6 and have my set. Like, yeah, that's gonna happen no matter what. No matter what your intentions are, when you're trying to do good for your audience, there will be people like that as well, and you should walk gently knowing that. And I think DP Yu-Gi-Oh's conversation's great, and that's why I wanted to show these two examples. Next, we get into the BlueEyes packages. BlueEyes Alternative White Dragon is up to $13.65, lowest for the ugly gold rare. I personally don't mind gold rares, but so many of you guys hate it. And then $16 on the Ultra. Why is this? Well, the Mega Packs / Mega 10s released a ton of the expensive BlueEyes cards, and now it's all cheap, except for him and another card, which we'll get into a second. I actually don't have it in my tabs, odd enough, so we'll have to go and do that. But it is also more expensive on eBay. We have the gold at $15.60 and $20. If you want a playset, it is a little cheaper at $45. Now, I'm not saying to rush out and get this. This isn't going to be topping a YCS anytime soon, even with a huge ban list. But I would think that it can still top 8 a regional potentially, although it would struggle to do so, and it can easily top 8 a locals depending on where you are. So there are people who just have nostalgia. They love the show. They love how the show used to be, and they're getting to play their BlueEyes decks, and that's what's driving the price. It's collectability and semi-playability. It's not a bad deck. It's just not a great deck. So that's the pure driving force behind this card going up, alongside the fact that people can now get the rest of the deck cheap. Now, the other card that is up there is Return of the Dragon Lords. Return of the Dragon Lords is up on both platforms. It's about the same price on both, I checked earlier. And it's at about 11 some odd. 11.55 here played. 11, it's almost $12 here. So this card is also used. It's from a structure deck, and it's now more expensive than its own structure deck. It's amazing, generic dragon support, but it's mostly used by BlueEyes players. Target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon-type monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. If a dragon-type monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you banish this card from the graveyard instead. Really good support for dragons. I guess the Red Eyes players can play it too. I'm giving the BlueEyes white privilege there, but the main deck that people seem to grab this for is the BlueEyes decks. And I want to say it's, again, the same pushing factor. You're not going to see this actively played within the main metagame, but people who want to play that BlueEyes decks do buy this up. I think BlueEyes is one of the most played decks on YVD. I actually got, or not YVD, Jesus, that shows my age, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, I was able to get the data from a Chinese server. They presented it all to me when they were explaining things, and BlueEyes Alternative Dragon was the 4th most activated card. That should tell you something surrounding these two cards, the BlueEyes Alternative Dragon itself and Return of the Dragon Lords, and why they're up. It's mainly the casual base, and it just goes to show that, you know, the people spending money on this game aren't just the competitive players, and that's not the only driving factor behind cards. Card of Demise is down to $20. I personally think that they continue to hit decks around Card of Demise rather than Card of Demise themselves. They're not going to continue making the game, just avoiding Card of Demise itself. Like, they could eventually hit Card of Demise, and many people are scared this ban list will do it. Now, that's all speculation. The card itself is great for what it is, but you do want to keep in mind there's a ban list, and perhaps after the ban list, depending on this card's placement on it, it will go up or down. Because right now, it's only down because of that speculation. And if we go onto eBay, I believe the lowest buy it now is around $22. Yes, $22. So it's actually cheaper on TCG Player. This is why I always say to check both, such as with the cheaper cards like Waterfall of Dragon Souls and this card. You can often find deals on TCG Player. If you need this card now, you got a regional in a week, you're pretty sure the ban list ain't gonna hit by then, and you want to play your true Draco deck, and you've decided on Demise Draco, and you need this, you know, TCG Player is actually cheaper right now. Often in our past market watches lately, we've been seeing eBay be cheaper, but there's always reasons to check both, guys. And in the final card, the Agent of Creation Venus, I do want to note there's a cheaper version of this if you're looking. The new OP05 pack is driven down to $2, which is really high for a brand new OP common. But the holo version is down to $5 from its market price of $8. Basically, all the World Chalice / Stargrail cards are sinking down here. The hype's dying down a little. It's not doing anything in the meta, mainly because Masterpiece exists. A lot of people still got it with the expectation the ban list might do something really harsh to that deck, that they might only have to take care of one Masterpiece. But as long as Masterpiece is running around in general, this deck has to play Kaijus or something to definitively take care of him. Because when you're tributing a spell and a monster against the World Chalice deck, there's just not much they can do to it. And they would have to force him twice in order to truly threaten him. And again, that's just not happening with that deck if they've tributed a monster and a spell. So these are really big things to consider. Basically, they have to play Kaijus, and that breaks up their hands when they need all their cards to create those really impressive fields at times. And we see over here, it's $5, dead even lock on both platforms. So, what did you guys think of today's Market Watch and the conversation that DP Yu-Gi-Oh! Brought up? I actually truly enjoy it. It's basically saying, be careful where you're stepping, look where you're stepping, and that there is a push and pull effect no matter what you do. I've had people, like, again, tell me, stop hyping these cards on specific cards that I've been saying, guys, chill on this right now. Like the Brilliant Engine, like, wait for the ban list, see where the Brilliant Engine shows up. They're like, you're hyping it just by showing it. Listen to the words coming out of somebody's mouth when they're presenting it. Just being on the screen, that's not hype. But there is a direct effect when you're showing, again, 16 total prices, 67 total prices to a grand total viewer base of, you know, 30,000 people where 10,000 people might watch. So, again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of that conversation as well. I, again, truly did enjoy it. I'm not firing any shots, just as he's not. He's doing it for the conversation, and I think it's a great conversation.